Coffee, that's what's needed. Periscope. So either you are using it or you did use it, but either way, it's going away. They're discontinuing it. And there's some things that you need to know and some things that you need to do if you want to keep any of those videos. So sit down, grab your notebook, and let's dive in. Okay, so Periscope is going away as of March 31st, 2021. It was supposed to go away in 2020, but when the whole thing happened that we're not supposed to mention, we actually do get in trouble in some places if we mention it. They extended it, but that extension is over. So as I'm recording this now, it's February 2021. So you have until the end of the month to do the things that you need to do. For those of you who have been around, for a while, this story is going to sound very familiar because it is very much like the Google Plus thing that we went through several years ago together. So yeah, this is definitely going to be very similar in a lot of ways. Scott says he's going to watch the replay. Well, that's cool. Everybody is always welcome to watch the replay. Thank you for wanting to do that. My content revolves around Twitter. Okay, we'd love to know if they're going to embrace streaming or no. They actually already kind of have. So yeah, come back and catch the replay because I'm going to get into all of that and how you do that and what your options are. So come on back later when you can. But be careful out there. Alrighty. So yes, that's a little foreshadowing for what's coming up. Okay, so yeah, so those of us who have been around, for more than 5 minutes live streaming, we spent some time on Periscope, right? Because that was the place to be in the beginning. Just a little history for those of you who maybe are not familiar with the whole backstory here. Periscope started, I think it was like 2015. And the interesting thing about their story is that they actually were purchased before they launched, which is usually not how things go in the world. So they were purchased by Twitter. I'm gonna keep saying Twitch. I'm sorry, I've got Twitch on the brain today, so just be prepared. If I say that, just translate it for me. So Periscope started out, I guess, obviously before 2015, but they got ready for launch by 2015. They were just like seconds after Meerkat, and a little bit before Vine. So if you need that kind of parameters, that's what we're talking about there. But through serendipity, the folks at Twitter had already gotten a taste of what they were offering, seen what they had, and bought them prior to launch. It launched as launched as Periscope, and went out the door, and pretty much most people didn't know that there was a crossover between the two of them. They operated as independent companies. And so at that point in time, Periscope was if not the major video streaming social media platform. That's where people went. That's where stuff was going on. You went there for breaking news, all that kind of stuff. Fast forward today, not so much, right? The cool kids aren't there so much. Some people think it's already gone. So yeah, it's definitely, showing its age. It's been around for a while. It's not the shiny new thing. But it's there, and there are people still actively using it. There's still lots of stuff going on there. Personally, it's one of my favorite places to go. There's a couple people from Bermuda that just walk around and share their lovely island with us. And that's one of my favorite places to be in the world. So I go and hang out there quite often still because I love watching their videos. But this is not going to be an option going forward. So what's happened is over time, the features of Periscope have been assimilated into the Twitter platform, and I've improved, I'm hoping. But there's certainly been, wrapped up into it more. And that has, over time, drawn a lot of people away from the Periscope app and just use what's native in Twitter. And so that's what we're talking about when we're saying Periscope's going away. The app is going away. You cannot create new accounts. That's already happened through the app or through the website, which we'll get into in a minute. So all that stuff is gone or going away. You are still right now able to stream to it, whatever way you do it, either from the mobile app or from your desktop if you prefer. But that is also going to go away at the end of the month. At the end of the month, the plug is being pulled. So we'll get into more detail on that. And this is a decision by Twitter. It's been coming for a while. They've been kind of subtly laying the groundwork for what was coming. And so those of us who've been paying attention, it wasn't a matter of if, it was when, and when is now. So the first thing that, as I'm talking to people about this, the first concern for a lot of people is, what about my content, right? So I've got content for a couple of different projects, client projects, my stuff that's there that still gets views today. I still have people reacting to it. I still cruise through there every once in a while. I will say I haven't actually streamed there in a while, but I do check in every once in a while and respond to things. So here, okay, I'm trying, like, how do I phrase this properly? Okay, like I said at the beginning, remember Google Plus? Those of you who went along with me for that ride at the end of that wonderful period there. The song remains the same, basically. So it's all going away. There is one difference from what happened with Google Plus. For those of you who don't know, when Google Plus shut down, everything went away. There was nothing left. But they are claiming right now, the Twitter folks, that they are going to keep the archive available on the website. So you will not be able to create new videos, but your existing videos will stay there. We'll talk in a minute, but the short version is, yeah, okay, but don't trust it. If you have anything there that you want, you're going to want to stick around so we can talk about that. Because you don't want, people spend a lot of time, putting together content for that. And, if you want that, if you want to have that archive, if you want to repurpose it or whatever, we're going to talk about that. Okay, so let me just get into what we're officially being told. Okay, I'm going to read you the exact quote from them. So on December 15th, 2020, we notified customers that Periscope is being sunset. They actually have said it before that, but because they were going to close it down last year, but they extended it. So this is the updated statement. We notified customers that Periscope is being sunset and people will no longer be able to use the app for live broadcasts by March 31st, 2021. People will also no longer be able to create new accounts or purchase coins to tip their favorite broadcaster. So that was their version of, the Twitch bits, the stars on Facebook, that kind of thing. Now here, in this, they're saying, they're only mentioning the app, but it's the same story for people who were connecting over RTMP or direct connecting from a streaming software too. So don't be misled by that. Just because they only said app here, they mean the whole thing. Their explanation for this is that they're, because they've acquired everything, then they want the Twitter app to be, and the website to be, the central go-to spot for communication, okay? And in a lot of ways, a lot of people are already doing this. The interesting thing, which I had not really heard a whole lot about, and I'm a little suspect about it, but anyway, so there is evidently already an integration that shares tweets in I can never get this out, Snapchat stories, has been rolled out to Twitter users who use their mobile app on the iPhone. Once again, Android gets screwed, but okay. Twitter users select the Snapchat icon in the share menu, extending the audience who can view a tweet. The other thing that is interesting here is that coming soon, we're supposed to see an integration with tweets on Instagram. Now, keep in mind, okay, Snapchat is its own company, and of course, Instagram belongs to Facebook now. So evidently, the people at Twitter are quite the politicians, and very good at negotiating with these other companies, because it's kind of unusual for them to be okay with an outside company coming in, right? These are pretty much walled gardens. We'll see. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to keep an eye on this. This is not something that I would have predicted would happen, but evidently part of it's already happening and the rest will be coming. One of the things that makes me question this whole enterprise is, okay, they've been building towards this. They've been heading towards this for quite a while now. We've known that. But there's still something that I think is sorely missing from Twitter, and that is the view of being able to go in and just check for videos. The only way that you can find videos is to either go through your feed and trip across them or search for them. So it's not like, TikTok where you go in and you're scrolling for videos, and it's not like, Instagram where you can go into IGTV or stories and, see stuff. So I'm a little surprised by that. I would think, especially since they've had an extended period now, right? Because it was supposed to end last year. Now it's coming into this year. I'm really confused why nobody over there has said, hey, we need to get together a view, in a tab that people can just focus on videos, since that's what they're trying to push. We'll see what happens. But the discoverability part of this is what's missing as far as I'm concerned, right? If you go to Periscope TV, Periscope.tv, not Periscope.com, that's a different company. But if you go to Periscope.tv, let me just take a look and see what's going on there. Actually, let me do that here. The danger with doing this kind of thing live is you never know what's going to be on the homepage. So let me just see what's there. Oh, okay, yeah, the guy is feeding the crocodiles again. Yeah, maybe we won't do that. But anyway, if you can go there yourself. I just don't want to shock anybody who might be cruising by this. When you go to the Periscope app or the web page, you see videos, and you can search for things. They've got a nice map. You can click, to see the map. That's how I go and check out Bermuda. There's nothing like that in Twitter at all. So to me, they own Periscope. They have the technology. It seems like it would be a fairly easy thing to just assimilate that view into the existing Twitter feeds, the Twitter layout, and then, make it a tab or make it a filter or something, but some way that you could just go in and look at videos, because clearly that's what we like to do, right? I mean, how much time have we all spent on TikTok when we said we weren't going to do it again, right? It's just, there's something about, okay, let's look at the next one, let's look at the next one. The benefit of the Periscope feed is it's not just 60 seconds, right? These are full-fledged feeds, right? You're interacting with your audience, they can chat, they could give you they could donate, to thank you for doing your streams. So that to me is a big disconnect right now. Maybe they're going to fill the gap. I don't know. I don't know anybody who works there. I have no inside information. These are just my observations of what I'm seeing. Hey, Laura, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. So that is there, and that's the part that's confusing me about this whole thing. The other thing I want to get out of the way quickly before we get into the more detailed stuff is, for my fellow folks out there who have been using Periscope at any point, if at any point you were a super broadcaster, which is sort of like their, bumped up level, that meant that you got paid, right? You got more money. You could, there was money involved. If you haven't cashed out that money, and there's a lot of money sitting there from what I understand, you need to go and take care of that now. You need to go and cash out now. There is a part, I think it's in the FAQ, I'll show you in a second, with a link. Now, when I read it, it kind of contradicted. People are not really good at continuity. So I'm going to read it exactly to you. So the first quote that I found said, super broadcaster and cash out. Applications must be submitted no later than February 1st, 2021. Already happened. To allow for ample processing and payment time. But when you go to the next page in all of this information about what's happening and what your options are and all that, it says that as part of the Periscope sunset, we will allow ample time for super broadcasters to cash out all of your stars before April 30th, 2021. So to me, it sounds like they were really hoping to get everybody to do it by February 1st, but you can still do it now. But you should not wait, because there is a point where they're just going to lock it all down. Oh, right. So I'll put that link into the description for you so that you can get to it easily. But you do want to go check. Even if you're not sure, go and check and just make sure that you're not leaving money on the table. Why should they walk away with it? But you do want to start that process to get it so that, you're not leaving money on the table. Okay. So before we get into, next we're going to talk about, what about your existing videos? What can you do? What are your options? What should you maybe, do next? We're going to get into all that. But first, I just wanted to let you know that if you have a question, if you have a topic you want me to cover, if there's anything that you... Whoops. Let me try that again. If there's anything that you need a little bit of help with, please feel free to reach out. Just go right here, youratechcoach.net. There's a contact form there. Let me know what your question is, what topic you want me to cover, whatever. The only thing I ask is, and this keeps happening, if you need a fast answer, you have to tell me that and you have to tell me how to get back in touch with you, email address, whatever, so that I can get back in touch with you. Otherwise, all I can do is answer it during a show as soon as possible. So feel free to reach out. I mean, a lot of my best shows come from questions that you folks ask, so please don't hesitate. Don't be shy. But like I said, if you don't give me a way to get back in touch with you, all I can do is turn it into a show, which is great because then everybody benefits from it. But I do understand sometimes you have something that's a little bit more immediate, so just make sure you give me a way to get back in touch with you, because if you don't, I can't find you. And there's 3 of you right now that I hope that you hear that and realize that that's what's happened. That's why you didn't hear back from me. Alrighty. So, this is details in life, right? Sorry, don't know why that happened. Okay. So let's get into the details here, right? This is what's really important, I think, for most of us who spent any time streaming over there. And that is, what about my videos? Because there is no way for you to just go and download your videos, on your own. And there's lots of people out there who are putting all kinds of solutions out there that are very painful and complicated. They work, like basically the one I see most often is play your video and record it again on the screen and have it that way. I mean, that's great, but some of us have hours and, hundreds of hours of content over there, and, life be short. So let me start you off with, I think it's this one. Nope, it's that one. Okay, so this is the FAQ. Like I said, I will put all of these into the descriptions on Periscope and on YouTube. But it explains, what and what, what's going on and why and when does it kick in. This is that bit that I read to you that has clearly been updated because they actually talked about this in 2019. So you can go through here and you can get all of the details that you want. This is the part about the super broadcaster, and they already aren't letting people buy new coins. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so they're still going to let people give coins away until the 31st. Now, what I don't see here, by the way, is if somebody bought coins and hasn't given them away, I have not come across any information yet that tells you how you can get those back. I have a sneaking suspicion you can't. So they're trying to encourage people to give them away, but just for reference, keep that in mind. So like I said, I will put that in there. And what was I was going someplace. Where was I going? Oh, okay. So about the existing videos. Okay, so actually I did not go into this. Let me go into, okay, we're gonna risk it. Let me just get connected. Okay. One sec. I'd like to get to my stuff. It's been so long, like I don't even remember where my stuff is. Okay, well, this will kind of work. Okay, so this is a partial list of the videos that I did. Okay, and I think you can get into. Oh, here, this is ironic. Let's go to the Google Plus one. Hey, that's fun. Okay, so I won't actually play it, but there's nothing here, I don't think. Yeah, no, you can report it, you can share it, but you can't actually download it. Boy, that view looks familiar, right? It's a little different. It's funny how the wall looks different, right? The wall looks blue there, and it looks like green here. It's actually more the green. This was with a webcam at this point, and the color was a little off. But there's no way for you to just download it, is my point here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to flip over to... and again, I will put these links in there. There is a page that you can go to where you can download your data, right? So that's your analytics. Let's go back to that, right? All the stuff, all of your numbers and all that kind of stuff. You can get that. And this is not the most intuitive user interface, so I'm going to show you this. So this, you send the data request, and you get that process started, but you have to click here to request your broadcast. Now, I started this already, and I started this afternoon, and it's still processing. So you don't want to wait on this. You want to get in there and do this as soon as possible. But this at least is giving us a way to bulk download our videos. I started it several hours ago because I was hoping to have the results by now, but I don't, because I wanted to see what format it's in. I want to see how they're giving it to us. I'm hoping that they're going to break it up for those of us with like hundreds of recordings. I'm hoping they're going to break it up into a couple of downloads, because otherwise people who are not lucky enough to live in an area with FiOS or fiber of any sort are going to struggle to get a big file down. So I'll let you know. I'll update you somehow, somewhere, probably on Twitter. What? That would be ironic. I'll do it on Twitter to let you know how it came down. But this is going to take a while, and I actually have another one that has even more videos that I did with somebody else. I'm going to have to start that process because I have a feeling that's going to take days for them to process. But the good news is, much like what happened with Google+, they are giving us a way to snarf down our data. I highly recommend, even if you don't think you're going to want it, go ahead and do it. It's better to have it and never use it than to not have it and wish you did, because there's going to come a point, even though they say it's going to stay up, that people will still be able to go to Periscope.tv and watch old content. They're not going to do that forever. It's not practical to do that forever. So sooner or later it's going to go away. By the time they go to do that, this download option will probably be dead. So do it now. I will put all of these links in the description for you so you don't have to go search for them, but they are there if you don't want to wait. So that's the process. Is you're going to go into this. Okay, so first you have to log in. Hopefully you remember how to do it. Most of us were tied to our Twitter account, so that as long as you can get into Twitter, make sure you're logged into the right Twitter account, right? Most of us have multiples. So make sure that you log into that before you go to Periscope.tv, and then, or the other link I'm going to give you to get directly to this data download. You can actually get to it from, not Twitter, from Periscope.tv, but I'll make your life easier because we all need that, right? We all need our lives to be a little bit easier. So make sure that you're logged in to the right Twitter account. That way you'll be connected to the right Periscope account and you'll be able to pull it down. And like I said, if you've done multiples on multiple different accounts, you're going to need to repeat this process, okay? But the good news is you will be able to get not only your videos down, but your data, which is nice. That was I was hopeful that they had given us something for the videos. The fact that they've done it for the data too is a nice move. So I'm happy about that. Okay. So it's not too bad from that standpoint, and we've got things pretty well covered. If you are running into any problems like this, just the same offer that I made when we went through the Google Plus thing, and you need a little extra help, you're not exactly sure what you're trying, what to do, go ahead and make an appointment. And I'm more than happy to work with you on getting that figured out. It won't take us very long, I don't think. Most people are going to run into problems just about storing it and trying to download and all that kind of stuff. But if you have questions about this, if you're not sure, maybe even, maybe I should do a show on that, like how you would repurpose this kind of stuff. I'm happy to get into that too. But just, I'm here to help you. So you can go ahead to yourtechcoach.net/appointments. It's just a little utility that I use. It makes it easier than trying to go back and forth in emails, trying to find a good day and time. You go in, you pick your day and time, and we're good to go because it's synced to my calendar, so you'll know I'll be available. Okay? Alrighty. So, see, I'm hitting too many buttons today. All right. So let me just show you what you're going to see when you first go back into Periscope if you haven't been there in a while, because it's a little bit different. And I think it's not very intuitive, which makes me unhappy, but you know what? Not everybody can afford to hire me. Okay, that's my day gig. Okay, I might apologize about the croc. Maybe if I take him away for a second, will he go away with the strange, scary lizard-looking thing? Oh, I think that's a turtle. That's a snapping turtle. He's been on there a lot. I'm guessing that there's not a lot of activity right now. Okay, well, we'll make this quick. I really want him to put the scary animal down, and he's not doing that. He's shoving it in the camera's face. Give him another minute. Problem is, there's nothing I can do to make it go away because they bubble up whatever they want, and this has been in the prime position most of the afternoon. Okay, yes. I mean, I like turtles, but not everybody does, and this guy is a big snapping turtle with a big mouth. Anyway, maybe I can zoom in so we don't have to look at him. How about that? Give me a second. I will try that. Yeah, because he's just really having a good time putting that poor critter's face right in there. So here. Okay, that's what we'll do. There we go. There's always a solution. You just have to get a little creative sometimes. Okay, so when you go into Periscope, .tv, you're going to get this pop-up in your face, right? And it's telling you that it's discontinued, and that's fine. We're good with that information. It gives you a little more stuff. It gives you a, learn more option, which is great. The problem is there's no way to get out. Like, there's no, like, if you say, I don't want to learn more and I don't want to click on move to Twitter because I'm not sure about that yet, you're stuck, okay? There is no way to get into your account from here, which is why I'm going to give you the deep link for the data download and for the videos download. But there's no way to get past this because it's a poorly laid out user interface. And I'm sorry, I do have that up. So here's what you do, okay? You just click on this. This doesn't seem to do anything, but this seemed to be the magic solution here. So when I clicked on this, then it let me in, and then I could go do my stuff, although now it's looping, maybe because I did it too long. So now you can still get in and you can do all of your stuff. So you can, you can go into your profile. So what I would recommend, so this is the first tip for people, because you're going to be going away from here. Okay, now I can zoom it back out 1 sec so you can see the whole thing. What I'm recommending everybody do is go into your profile, and over here in this section, where you've got like a little piece of text about you, give people other places to go find you. Now, we're going to talk in a couple of minutes about, what your options are and all that. Whichever option you choose to be your primary going forward, put that information in here so that your fans from Periscope, even if they're fans from 5 years ago, or people who just found you on Periscope last week, even though you haven't, streamed there for 3 years. Not that I know anybody. But make sure you put something in there so people can find you in your new spot, where your new content is. Make it easy for them to follow you on your journey to the next step. So that's the very important tip, is make sure you come in here and you update this. For the rest of it, there's really not a whole lot that you're going to be able to do. I mean, you can certainly go down memory lane. You have access to leave yourself. Like I said, let's go back here. Sorry. You can get into your analytics still. You can still stream there. You can still, get the donations if you're a broadcaster, all that kind of stuff. I'm just checking because I'm like, did this one get to super broadcaster? It did not. Okay. So that's where you're going to go. And so that's just how to get you past that point, because it did take me a few minutes to figure out how the heck do I get past this, because they did not make it clear. People, make this stuff clear, please. Alrighty. So let's talk about what you're going to do next, where you're going to go, how are you going to stream if you've been streaming on Periscope. First of all, you can just keep going with Twitch. Nope. Twitter. See, I knew I was going to do it. Twitter. So let me show you. So there were two ways to stream on Periscope. One was you would fire up your Periscope app, which, by the way, you can't even install anymore, so but it still works. It'll work till the end of March. So you would just fire it up here and you could just start to go. Or if you had a setup like I do here, right? So vMix and all that, you could stream to their site from your streaming software and do whatever kind of content you like to do that way. And that is still an option. So let me show you. Oh, wrong one. Oh, sorry, lost my captions. So it was Periscope. What did they used to call it? Where is it? No, not channels. It was producer. I'm not even worried. Well, all right, I'll have to edit that out. But there was a producer tool, so you could go in, you could RTMP your way in and do it. On the Twitter side, it is called Media Studio Producer. And that is the same type of thing, right? So I'll give you this link. You can do RTMP. You can do HLS if you want. They've explained step by step how to do it. So you still have the capability of streaming either from your phone, from using the Twitter app. We'll get into more of that in a second, from the Twitter app, or if you're using OBS or vMix or Ecamm or whatever your streaming tool of choice is, and it can do HLS or RTMP or whatever, you can still go ahead and do that. You just have to switch from doing it the Periscope way and doing it the Twitter way. So from there, easy peasy, you're good to go. The caveat there is if you're a fan, like most of us, if you prefer to use the third-party Twitter apps, I'm not finding ones that are doing the video part of it. Now, maybe I just haven't come across one, and by all means, if you know of a third-party Twitter app that you can do the live video from, please, please, please throw it in the comments so the rest of us can all jump on that. But like, for example, the one I like, so terrible. Like I know the logo, what it looks like, but now I'm blanking on the name. What is the one? Flamingo, is it? Flamingo. Okay, it is Flamingo. Flamingo is the Twitter app I prefer to use, but you can't do live video from it. So I had to install the Twitter app so that I'll be able to do that going forward. So you still have the same options that you had with Periscope. You just have to make some adjustments, right? So instead of the Periscope app, because that's not going to work, you're going to use the Twitter app from mobile. If you're going to use it from your desktop, you just have to go into the Media Studio, get the new setup information, and start going live that way. So easy peasy, pretty straightforward. Just in case you're interested, I'm going to give that a try probably next week, because next few days are crazy. Because I've noticed, from the beginning of using vMix, it's always had a way to pull in Twitter comments, and I'm realizing, really, I've never paid any attention to it. I'm like, oh, I'll bet that's for the live video. So I'm going to try it. If you want to jump in, I'll let you know. I'll post it on Twitter beforehand. But I'm curious to see what the experience is like, knowing, because I did Periscope for years. So it'll be interesting to be able to compare. So it'll be a good way to see. So, like I said, the replacement for Periscope Producer is called Media Studio in Twitter. So you'll be able to go forward with that, and that will be pretty easy. Otherwise, if you're done with it, if you're as concerned as I am about the findability part of it on Twitter, you have options, right? You can use Instagram for live video. Now, with Instagram, don't get yourself in trouble. Yes, I know that there are third-party apps, but you are in violation of the terms with Instagram if you live stream anything other than your mobile device. So don't do it, because you can lose your account. They will lock you out. And yes, they can tell. So those third-party companies that are giving you an end round around the terms of service are not helping you, because they're not going to be able to help you if Instagram smites you. So keep that in mind. If you're going to do it, go to Instagram and do it from your mobile device. TikTok is another place. We're all aware of it. I will say I was kind of meh about the whole TikTok thing. I've gotten sucked in because I found some really interesting content here. I have not started to stream there yet. I don't know if I'm going to, but I do consume the content like I used to do with Periscope. Like I have found streamers over there that I'm truly, honestly enjoying. Just like anything else, there are cesspools over there, so you want to avoid those. But if you make good choices, for the most part, you're okay, as long as the algorithm doesn't throw you in the wrong direction. You can use things like Twitch. You can go to YouTube. And by the way, if you're a fan of the short form, you can do shorts on YouTube, and I'm going to do a show on that in the not too distant future. But know that you have options. You can do recorded videos on YouTube. You can do live streams like I'm doing right now, although you might be catching this on the replay. And you can also do shorts now. So you have lots of options. And of course, Facebook and all the other things. So if you have been doing Periscope and you're not interested in doing the move to Twitter, this might be a chance to branch out and try something new. What I would recommend is maybe do it on Twitter for a little bit as you're transitioning, and kind of start to talk about the fact that you're going to move, so that you're taking your audience with you and they don't think that you've just vaporized, because they're not watching every single thing maybe that you're doing. I mean, maybe you're lucky and you are, but you have to assume that some of them are going to miss the message. So you want to make sure you leave that breadcrumb trail for them, so that they're going to be able to come and find you wherever it is that you're going to go. And don't be afraid to experiment, right? So, maybe try going to, I don't know, maybe try going to Twitch, and give it a try. I will say discoverability on Twitch is a bit of a challenge, but if you build an audience there are some really good communities there. So if you are a part of one of those, they tend to help the newbies. So don't be afraid. Or maybe this is your chance. Maybe, you've been very happy on Periscope, but you've been kind of eyeing up the big ones, YouTube and Facebook. It might be time to jump over there and give it a try. Okay? All right. So that's where we're at. It's going away at the end of March 2021, in case you're watching this in the future. You can download your content to archive it. better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So I recommend going through that process. Start it now, because they're going to get swamped as more and more people start to go, oh shit, I don't want to lose my content. So make sure you go in there and do that. And in the descriptions, I will put the link so that you can get there quickly. If you were a super broadcaster or are a super broadcaster, make sure you start the process to get your money, right? Don't walk away from money on the table. That's very important. It is absolutely 100% possible to take what you have been doing in Periscope and just sidestep your way right into the Twitter world. There is pretty much a one-to-one there, except for discoverability, but hopefully they'll fix that. So you can do it from your mobile device using the Twitter app itself right now. And I'm not finding third parties. If you know, share. And you can also do it from your desktop, so you're good there. And if not, or in addition to, this is a good chance to maybe branch out and try a different one. Don't make yourself crazy. Don't try all the things. Pick one or two to test drive. Run some algorithms, on them. Make sure, see what's clicking for you and your audience, what isn't. Make a decision, narrow it down, and then go forward from there. Okay? Look, these things are going to happen, folks. This is just how this goes, right? We don't own these platforms. It's why it's always good to keep an eye on what's going on in the other places, even if you're happy where you are, because at some point, where you're happy today is going to go away in the future, and you need to have a transition plan also. And I know I say this all the time, but I'll say it one more time here at the end for you who've soldiered through. This is why it's so, so important to have at least a one-page website out there for yourself. You own that, right? You have control of that. You always want to have that single point in the internet universe that people can always go and find you, right? Here, we'll do this, right? If you're used to watching me on Facebook or YouTube and for whatever reason I stopped doing them, right? And you don't know what happened, you can always go to yourtechcoach.net and you know that I'm going to have posted something there if I've gone someplace else and probably explain why. You need to do that too. You need to give your people one place to find you. And it's not really good enough to say, well, that's Twitter or that's Facebook, because those can go away. Facebook in particular, I mean, we all have heard stories about people who've gotten locked out of Facebook and not been able to get it untangled. So make sure, even if it's just one page with your logo, who you are, what you do, and how to contact you, fine. But make sure you have that. Make sure you spread the word about it so people can always find you. It is so important. And I've seen people get burned by this, so please don't be one of those people. Please go and do and get that one-page website. It's not that big a deal, and it's certainly not expensive. Okay? All right. Off my soapbox. I'm done with this. Go get your content off of Periscope. Figure out, which one of these feels like the right fit for you, and keep on doing what you're doing. I will be here doing what I'm doing every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. In the meantime, if you need anything, if you want to reach out, if you have questions or content or subject matter you want me to cover, just go to yourtechcoach.net, fill out the form, let me know. Take care. I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you soon. Bye.